The living room, where the family meets to discuss issues, any issue which may be bothering one of the family members. That's what we do each and every Tuesday on WAC 90.1 FM with Ricardo Mitchell and DJ Aaron 868. We have casual conversations on serious topics, from sports to culture, mental health to economics, relationships to life lessons. Join us each and every Tuesday on WAC 90.1 FM. The living room, casual conversations on serious topics.
It is currently 6 p.m. or a couple of minutes after. I think so. I'm going to watch a little offer. I didn't sync it for the day, honestly.
Can't be more off than mine.
Clearly. Right? I didn't sync my watch for the day, so I ain't really too sure if it's 6 or a little after. But same way, this is the time of the day when you are inside the living room with yours truly, DJ Aaron 868, and my bro with no fro.
Ricardo Mitchell, the social stage and the local stage.
And also no bed.
Oh, you notice?
We'll talk about that after. All right. And this is the True Nation station, WACK 90.1 FM, where we are
culture crazy.
Now I jumped the broom, so let's go back now. First and foremost, let's kick it off as we always do. We must give thanks and praises to the Almighty for granting us the gift of life and seeing another day. No matter what time of day it is, you must always
give thanks.
Secondly, we say thank you to our brother in music and to all the ancestors and everybody, you know, the Tainos and the Kalinagos, the original inhabitants of Trinidad and Tobago, because we all have learned, not knowing, we all have learned and know and have come to accept that Columbus lied. But we also say thank you to our brother in music, Tony Prescott, and the P this week stands for
post-colonial. Yeah. Now, I know I said that just the other day, but there's been a very interesting development over the past couple days.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I just say, despite
actually no.
Actually, you know what?
What
I'm saying is, despite your personal, cultural, or even national perspective on it, at the end of the day, we are members of the Commonwealth, and we will acknowledge the passing of Queen Elizabeth II and the ascension to the throne of King Charles III. So,
nice.
It has been officially acknowledged.
Okay.
Right.
Now, with that being said, you know what else we need to acknowledge?
Go ahead.
That we are shifting away from YouTube. So if you are watching us on YouTube now, what you need to do is head across to wack.tv. Yeah, wack.tv. Yeah, so hopefully no more black screens.
So what you telling me is when they say I had a face for radio.
Oh, Lord Father.
What they're saying was that they was getting things ready.
Yeah.
Wait, so let me get that again.
Wack.tv.
TV.
Yeah.
Nice, man. Nice. I guess that means we have a conversation to have.
Not me and here again. I'm a partner, but he can take an arrest now. Just like how again TKRS, he get an arrest too.
Yeah, man, say he was gonna try Omega XL until
yeah. All right.
Anyway,
I see people saying that TKR celebrate 2 birthdays better than the winner.
Wait, hey, you know what? That's our team. We have the right. Yeah. We have the right to express how we feel.
And win, lose or draw, are going either in the Oval or Brian Lara this week to take them in.
All right, nice one. Nice. Hey,
I get a free ticket.
Oh, yeah, free one. All right, yeah, cool. Yeah, I didn't really see myself going any other way, but Aaron, I want to actually hang my hat on something, but.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I want to acknowledge the Ministry of Education drop a release that says that officially, and yeah, let me leave it as officially. Yeah, there will be no change to the textbook listing for the school year 2023 to 2024, and they will not be accepting any revisions to the existing editions. So it was a response to the tumult that has been raised in terms of the feelings that people have been having about books, textbooks that they can't pass on.
Oh, you're talking about the exorbitant price of the textbooks.
I am not.
That's only valid for one term.
What I'm saying is that the Ministry of Education has declared that there will be no changes to the textbook listing. Schools are required to utilize the existing books, and they are currently in setting up a framework for an ebook platform. Right?
So we're saying the book that cost me $250 that I could have only used for 1 year, I could pass it down to my nephew or my niece that will get to use it next year too.
Yes.
Cool.
They didn't say anything further than that. I'm just saying that
at least a guaranteed 2 years for $250.
Right. Right now they say they're not accepting any revised editions, and what it have is to use.
You wouldn't jump out while I jumping out while
you stunt.
No, I would already jump out while.
Yeah, I know. Well, sorry, I should say it's all half stunted. Yeah, I don't know how I'm feeling fancy this evening. I'm feeling fancy.
I also want to hang my hat. This weekend I was privileged to speak for the First Lady Entertainment Development Workshop with their group of young ladies.
The Professional Development Workshop.
A Professional Development Workshop. And I want to say thank you to the management of First Lady Entertainment, Patricia and Tashay, for having me. It was a privilege for it.
One that I would have been very happy to partake in, but for the fact that I was already indisposed.
Just wait. I was going to ask that.
Yeah.
I was going to ask that. But
yeah.
Let me just finish up with these ladies. I want to commend them on the work that they are doing and the level of detail and professionalism that they are putting into their craft. Right? With that being said, Ricardo said he was unavailable this weekend. You had to cut your beard to use it as and tie it together as string to.
Nah, actually, had you been paying attention, you'd have noticed that I cut my beard for one of our last recordings. But you were hungry and sleepy, so I could understand why it is you didn't notice glaring, obvious changes in the environment.
I think you should put a picture from the last episode right here.
Before and after something?
Prove from the last episode, last week on, that your beard was cut.
I said our last recording. I didn't say the living room's last recording. Because I don't know who know, but this is not the only platform that you and I appear on. You can't catch me. You can't catch me. Right? I survived yesterday, you know. I sharp. I 100 right now.
All right, brother man.
One last hang hat. Our former guest, when we actually had this episode in station, Miss Tejane Remy. I don't know if you remember her. Yes. She will be representing Trinidad and Tobago in the Miss Universe competition. That's what I'm seeing.
Congrats, Tejane.
That's seeing Tejane.mutt 2022.
So now is the appropriate time to pull back that picture and post I knew her before this.
I mean, yeah. Remember too. We have an eye for winners, you know. We have an eye for winners.
Really quickly, because we have our guests coming in to sit with us.
For real.
We have to add a wipe my feet on this. And only know when I start to wipe my feet with this phrase, only know it's serious. Trinidad and Tobago. Watch, a 2-hour commute turns into a 4 or 5-hour commute at the blink of an eye for a lapse of judgment, a mechanical error. And when I say that, I'm speaking of an accident. 2 hours yesterday turned into 5 hours for some people. At no point did I see a release that opened the bus route to ease traffic. No point. But yet still I'm 100% sure persons with the privilege of a security escort and police escort were able to put on those flashing lights and those loud, annoying sirens and hit a shoulder and go up the road? Why must I suffer when you are able to afford yourself that privilege? For the powers that be that listen to this show, I beg and implore you to remember that my mental health is as important as it is for me to put the work out there. So understand that me sitting in 5 hours traffic to get to work and a boss would expect the same level of productivity is inhumane. So for the powers that be, if situations like this arise again, I implore that you open alternative routes of transport to the general public. If even it is those that have more than one person in the vehicle, open alternative routes so that persons can get to work in a timely manner and still produce, and not be stressed out because I leave home at 5 and get to work at 10 and you expect the same level of productivity as if I got there at 8.
I want to wipe my foot on the edge of that mat by saying that the opportunity cost in terms of the level of productivity, in terms of the mental health and well-being of our working citizenry, pretty certain that it has surpassed what would have been a ridiculous sum for a public transport system, which would have alleviated some of this current traffic. I don't want to use the term rapid rail or anything like that, but what I'm saying is that when... Well, anyway, you know what? Anyway, I'm just saying, we have to accept that a lot of the beds we're sleeping in are beds that we help make. Because when the time comes for change, we're so resistant to it that nothing could improve.
Not just the beds that we have made and lying down in the bed that we make up in. As a matter of fact, we buy it, we make it up, we beat the mattress so much that we buy the mattress again and make it up with the same sheet and lie down.
Anyway, this was happening in changeovers, but Diana, we have somebody coming in that we could talk about that.
Please, before we go too far.
Mr. Yohance Ayodike believes that all individuals have the power to create positive change in their own life, but may not always have the tools. One path to help tap into this power is through the understanding of human behavior. As a result, Mr. Ayodike pursued his education in psychology in Baltimore, Maryland, USA, then gained qualifications and experience with the Maryland Board of Counselors and Therapists and working within the Baltimore healthcare system. Mr. Ayodike returned to Trinidad and Tobago in 2011 and has continued his knowledge and growth in the field of behavior change by pursuing a master's in forensic counseling at Caribbean Nazarene College. He has worked in the private, public, and non-profit sectors with clients of all ages in the areas of youth education, addictions counseling, the prison and police services, trauma, victims of crime, family services, stress-related issues, grief and loss, mental toughness for athletes, and the employer assistance programs, motivational and performance coaching. He is the owner of Iodk Consultancy, whose aim is to simplify the approach to mental health and positive behavior change. So, going to cue Vorish, unlock the door, and get the show started.
Happy belated birthday, Lauren.
Welcome to the living room. Welcome to the living room. Welcome to the living room. Welcome to the living room.
And we're back and have to acknowledge again the lovely intro that has been gifted to us by Warish. Every time I hear it, I remember the conversation and I can't help but laugh. And I wonder, Aaron, we getting them back for our interview this Christmas coming again?
We could ask now.
Nice one. And we have in the living room this evening a gentleman who I've only made his acquaintance a couple days now, and he has already significantly impacted the way that I see things. And I don't say stuff like that loosely, right? Aaron, I could accept the astonished look on your face because you also very well know how much I impact as opposed to being impacted. So to admit it is a big deal. And it's a big deal because, I went on a hike.
I think that's what changed your perspective, you know?
Well, I would not end up on the hike if it wasn't for the efforts of Mr. Ayodike. So how before we already do the bio on thing, what I want to know is we calling you Yohance, we calling you Mr. Ayodike because I'm watching his sports jacket and button up going on there now.
I prefer Yohance, and let me tell you why. I don't mind the respect of Mr. Ayodike, right? And someday soon to be Dr. Ayodike, right? But Mr. Ayodike, but calling me Yohance, when I worked as a counselor in the US, right? In the mental health field, they prefer clients to call them by their first name in terms of familiarity. So it wouldn't be too much of a authoritarian type of thing. So we all, even though we have different qualifications and you may be a client, that we all human and that we all at the same level, doing things, experiencing life differently. So yes, some people may prefer to call me Mr. Ayodike, but I'm cool with Yohance in this instance.
Not a problem. I understand.
Well, in the living room, and after what we went through yesterday, well, I gotta say you went through it with a little more grace and finesse than I went through. But let me bring everybody up to speed so it don't come across like an inside joke. This gentleman has formed a group that is dedicated to the type of thing that Aaron and I have spent a lot of time discussing in terms of what it takes to be a man right now, men's mental health, development of community, emotional intelligence, the types of things where we've been complaining about why do we only get to these places after a couple drinks, why we don't have a community that exists in terms of brotherly support outside of meet me by the bar. And given the opportunity, I went on a hike with a group of gentlemen yesterday, and listen, it pushed me past the points that the mental limits that I thought I had. Well, we managed to surpass them collectively. In the physical limits that I knew I had, well, I had no choice but to surpass them because at the end of the day,
physical limits.
The forest is not the gym. The forest is not the gym where you could say halfway through the rep, halfway through the set, nah boy, I feel good. And you pick up your towel and your bag and you call it a day. If you're in, you have to find your way out.
No, but I'm not going to say if you're in the forest and you get tired, you're halfway through the hike, you could either do one or two things. You turn back, or you sit down in that one spot and wait until the group come back.
Yeah.
And me, I ain't doing either. I pushing through.
The team took turns motivating each other through the different points.
You motivated at the start?
Nah, honestly, I was motivating about 75% of the way in, and apparently using my motivation outwardly left me with very little in my own gas tank. So I had to have motivation returned to me. So I want to thank you, Yohance, for that experience this weekend, and welcome you to the living room. Aaron, listen, if it wasn't for this experience, I would have been there with you, with First Ladies.
Oh, okay. So just go and invite me to the next hike. I was trying to come up with ways to decline one time now.
But Aaron, the next event may not be a hike. I will not repeat the same thing for each event, right? Yes, there will be another hike, but it won't be like hike after hike. Or repeat something, so it'll be something different.
So it's not like this Iowa song that say fet after fet.
No.
Okay, cool. No. Just making sure. All right. Now, Ricardo, I know we usually start with a certain question, but I want to save that one to the end.
Okay.
Today, right? And you already spoke of the group that is Seedpoint, all right? Now, could I ask Yohance, what inspired the formation of this group?
Well, let me correct you, it's not necessarily a group. It's more of an initiative, right? The Seedpoint is an initiative that allows men to be men. Full stop, right? And we facilitate events and activities that allow men to be men and facilitate men being men. So the first event. Now this is the second Seedpoint that we had. So if you notice, Ricardo, I don't know if you saw the invitation, but they said the Seedpoint 2 and plan 3, 4, etc. The first one we went to estate called Wasamaki Ecosystems. You all ever heard of it?
Only because of this,
Right. This is in Freeport, and Wasamaki Ecosystems is an estate that promotes self-sustained living. Right? And I realized as a man, learning how to be self-sufficient is important. So the idea is to be very intentional about the activities and the places that we go, geared towards helping men and be better men. So it's not just haphazard that we just find somewhere to go. There's an intent behind it. So at Wasamaki, the custodians of the estate, they went through showing us how to do soil, how to grow certain types of plants, how to rear fish, how the system itself, how to create a compost heap, right? How they actually have houses they are built out of mud, right? And modern day looking houses, not like a hut, right? Of course, we went through the entire estate, and we even see there was one of the activities called Choose Your Path, and there were 2 paths that I let men go left or right, and the men that chose the right path, we were walking, and a snake actually ran past us in front of the walkway. So everybody got a little experience and a touch of what being a man really is, which is a lot of times learning how to deal with the unexpected, right? Maintaining and receiving skills on how to take care first of yourself and also your family, right? And also part of being at Wasamaki, they showed us how to use the environment, not how to plunder or take from the environment, but how to be part of the environment and use it to, I wouldn't say your advantage, but to be part of it to build you. So they even they had waste, and they showed us how to put waste as part of even building things. So they had like a gazebo, and the seats in the gazebos actually was tires underneath. Right? It's an amazing thing. I would have another Seedpoint at Wasamaki. So for both of you, if you all would like to come and have the experience also, I will let you all know.
I don't mind coming if the snake not making a guest appearance.
I can't predict that. The snake will storm the party whenever it wants to.
Well, I will.
Well, it sounds like you need a Seedpoint experience, because trust me, there's no way you're coming out of it the same way you went in.
No, I am not disputing that at all. I am not disputing that, but I just saying my fear for snakes is a lot bigger than. Anyhow, let's get on into that. So you say that within this initiative, it's allowing a man to be a man.
Correct.
Right? Now, that's a very interesting way of looking at it, because in the living room here, we have questioned on so many occasions, what does it mean to be a man? Right? And a lot of the definitions that we have come up with, both inside the living room as well as in conversations with our peers, is that a man was socialized to be more logical than emotional. So how does Seedpoint assist men in understanding that emotional awareness and intelligence is an important trait in being a man?
Some ways are the activities usually have an emotional component of it. Even if it's something as simple as how you're feeling right now, either after doing the activity or during the activity, or sometimes even hearing what the activity is about, you're checking to see how you're feeling about this, right? So even serendipitously, when the snake passed, I checked in with each man, how you feel, right? That's a thought, That's a thought, not a feeling. So the thought is I want to go, right, that is the thing. So you see what I did there? Even sometimes I ask about your feeling and they give me a thought. So thought is logical and feeling is emotional. And I ask you how you feel and they give me a thought. So you see how you went straight logical. So even understanding that difference in processing, because, and this is something I teach all men, that human behavior is thought into feeling into action. So what we think creates the feeling, and the feeling is energy that fuels the action. So if your thought is that snake going and bite me, I want to go home, I can't handle that, then of course your feeling will be fear. And then of course your actions will communicate that. But what we have control over is our thought. So when men understand, because men are not just logical with no emotion, because that's a myth. We all human, we all emotional in some aspect. So even what you're saying about men being socialized to only think logical is erroneous, because now you're even fighting against your own nature. Now, the difference is that women and men experience and express emotions differently, which of course we see and we know. But the fact is that men still have the emotions. So allowing each man the opportunity to process their emotions, to understand, allows them to understand exactly how. Because I can't tell a man how he processes his emotions, right? And that's why I'm saying allowing men to be men. So I'm not coming and tell you how to be a man. I just ask each man what it means to them to be a man. And they tell me, they tell us. So every man is walking and doing the activities in his own right and discovering his own self.
Yeah. Well, that actually answers one of the questions I took off the list, because for somebody who has not had the experience, the group experience, the community experience, the conversations, hearing that we were on an estate and then we took a hike, they might feel that it's just a niche hiking group. Just a niche outdoor session. But what you are explaining to us here is that there's a lot more to it than just we like being outside. It's a lot more to it than just, well, I like hiking and I like hashing. No, this is about the experience you get being amongst your peers. And by peers, I don't just mean people you know, but being amongst men at different ages, from different backgrounds, with different starting lines and different finishing lines, right? But something yesterday, and I'm going to personalize this for you all, you'll know I'm a very introspective person. And what yesterday taught me was that I am very good at doing things for people. I had to recognize yesterday that I have a challenge about doing things with people. Yes, Aaron, you've proven to be very astute over the years, despite your regular demeanor. So what came out of that for me was, again, a series of personal revelations that I only got exposed to because this wasn't a philosophical or psychological exercise purely, it was also physical. And I had people in my physical space. So it was a complete disruption to what I would have considered my comfort zone, or even the space that I would have grown into outside of my comfort zone. It was an amazing experience. Amazing.
And what, Ricardo, what you're saying is important, because I believe, now I could be wrong and you all could chime in, I believe that men a lot of times need to be doing something, right? To get those emotions out. Because that's why we men and boys sometimes have difficulty sitting down in a classroom, sitting in one place. Yes, the theoretical knowledge is coming in, but sometimes it's better, I would say most times it's better putting it into practice immediately. So at something like a hike, we have any discussions, we're talking about all kind of issues, right? But while we're doing that, we work in, and then some of the very concepts you have to put into play one time doing things. So even sometimes when I have seeing children, especially boys, right? We won't just sit and do therapy. We would sit and do an activity, we do something while, and then you realize it starts coming out. And then even something as simple as, I remember this Saturday, because Saturdays where I mostly see children, and one of the boys was doing an activity, was putting together a puzzle. And then we were talking about his anger issues. And then he started getting frustrated because he couldn't figure out the puzzle. And I was like, there's the same thing as do when you get angry. So control your emotions now, and let's see. And he said he put it, and so he calmed down, and then he started figuring out the person. I said, they see what's happening when you're calm. So immediately, even though it may not have been the social situation where he got angry, but he immediately got the skill of managing his emotions. So it's the same way at the Seedpoint, the activities. So yes, some are outdoors, but the last Seedpoint for the year would be a dinner, right? Where we all, dress up in your penguin suit or your bow tie or your full black suit, and we go out and have dinner as the old, I say old school men, because new school style may be a little different. But at least allow each man the opportunity to dress up. I say in black suit, but you can come in whatever suit you're comfortable in, which of course is your expression of your masculinity and your manhood also. But the aim is now to dress up, and the activity is going out to dinner, a different kind of setting. Because as men, I think we should be versatile in our expression. So we could be rough in the bush, or we could be cool and calm in the restaurant with the knife and fork, with the chopsticks, with the wherever it is we eating out.
Yeah, Aaron has been trying to get me to wear long pants to formal events for a while now. So I know you're glad to hear that there's the kind of company I keep it.
Fine. No.
So I am again. It will be difficult for me to conduct this interview, to have this discussion, and hit the talking points, because this has been a very personal experience for me.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like I want to talk about this weekend.
No, but
Go ahead.
So no, but just I have one more question for Yohance, and then I'll kick something over to you, Ricardo. All right. Do you think if we as men had more support systems, we'll be less likely to try to go it alone?
That's a two-edged question, right? So yes, I think if we had more support systems, yes, I agree with you, yes, that we wouldn't want to do it alone. The caveat to that is healthy support systems. We have to make sure the support system is healthy, right? And then two, it's also, I want to say a little bit of the programming, because you see, like when Ricardo said he accustomed doing things but just not with people, right? Doing initiatives like Seedpoint and having support groups, you get a better appreciation of the group. So it's not just the support system of in the bar playing football, because that's a group also.
Correct.
But having it in a healthy manner, you'll get a different kind of value from it, right? And then I would also add, we as men should not wait for people to recognize that we need support systems versus let me just make our own support systems. So Seedpoint is part of that. We could lament why men don't have this, why people don't do this, why the government do this, so forth and so on. Or we could just do it. And it could start with 8 men, because that's how much we had. The first Seedpoint, I think it was 10 men. We had 8 men this time. It don't really matter for me how many men attend once the Seedpoint continues.
Right.
The consistency is my important part of the support system. Right? So I'm telling the Seedpoint will continue, whether it is you and I, Ricardo alone, you and me and Aaron alone, the 3 of us. Even if I do the Seedpoint alone every so often, a man will know the Seedpoint happening, so he has someone to come. And that's my point. The consistency of it makes it healthy, makes it into what it is.
Now, this is twofold. Now, I love the point you made just now, Yohance, because traditionally as men, we see the way to come together in our support group or to listen to each other's problems at a local watering hole, right? And we have been advocating here in the living room that those conversations, we don't need to gather in the watering hole for us to trash out an issue that we may be having in our lives. It could be on the commute home from work, in the 2 hours of traffic that we started talking about earlier, Ricardo. I had to bring it back.
Yeah, noted.
Right? It could be you go fishing. Whatever it may be, it doesn't have to involve give me the word here, Ricardo. It just is my word L.
Well, I was thinking imbibitions, but I'm pretty certain it's not that you
Liquor?
wanted to say.
Thank you.
Liquor.
Liquor, yeah. Right?
Smart man.
doesn't-
You know why you didn't say the word liquor for yourself?
Exactly.
Mhm.
Right? So, with that being said, what I'm posing to you now, Ricardo, is that mentorship and brotherhood, right? Peer mentorship and brotherhood. You have been a very important peer mentor for me along my journey, right?
Appreciate it.
And, I always say thank you for that. I know you're going to use this as a screen recording and post it everywhere.
Yeah, no, this going up. I'm going to rent a little TV airtime on whack.tv and post it. But yes. Mhm.
Right? And peer mentorship and brotherhood in improving a young man's options or approach to an already difficult life. Now, we are hearing about the Seedpoint approach to it. Now, as somebody who would have attended one of their activities, I don't want to call it an event, one of the activities, what sort of peer mentorship did you receive at this activity that gave you a different perspective on some of the troubles that you may be facing that you don't speak about?
There was a moment, well, several moments, but there was a moment where within the hike, I was looking at how much everyone else was appreciating the experience and being very practical, being very risk averse. I was on duty. Mentally, I was not enjoying the experience I was having because I was mindful. I was so mindful about the risk, my internal resource management, just all of the other things that were possible, that I wasn't present in what was actually happening. Seeing other people enjoying the thing that I was missing prompted me to do an internal assessment as to why am I worried. Now here the catcher. I'm not the only person who was having the experience. I wasn't the only person on the trail. I wasn't the only person who was relieved when we crossed the little river and get to put our toes in the sand and gaze down and get some fresh air. I wasn't the only person who was enjoying the experience at that point. I had to look at myself and try to understand, why did I have to get to a destination to recognize the value of the journey? The way back up was different, because now having the presence of mind and allowing myself to be in the moment, I end up having a very real, very human, very at times emotional experience, because I'd gone from being a condition or a factor within an experience to being a participant of it. Whereas I wasn't tired before, I'm tired now. I could understand somebody else being tired. I got to see for myself that it was okay to switch off from being the robotic, pragmatic, fully functional factor and be a person having a physical, psychological experience.
You forget emotional.
Yeah. Well, there were definitely moments where my emotions expressed themselves. But in terms of the value I got from it was recognizing that I could have mentally survived the experience, absent some of the things that happened to me. But I enjoyed the experience because it wasn't just about my experience. I got to see for myself that it's not always about stepping back and processing. Sometimes it's about stepping in and processing. I'm a very cerebral person. So to have an experience where it was more physical, where it was more community, where it was more activity, listen, I ain't lied to tell you. I grew while it was going on. Because I got to learn from seeing other men growing while it going on too. But it wasn't just the cerebral part of it. It wasn't just the philosophical part of it. It wasn't just the psychological part of it. I had physical experiences and physical challenges and physical growth and a physical connection to our humanity where, you know what? I know the psychological motivators that would have got me to take the next step, but I still had to physically process what it would have take to do it. So I honestly got in one day a practical experience of the type of thing that I'd been speaking to people about for years. It was amazing.
Now, I want to say thank you, Ricardo, for your honest feedback there, right? And I want to ask you, Yohance, now, after hearing that declaration of enjoyment, do you think this is one of the benefits that persons will get if they choose to attend one of these Seedpoint initiatives?
Yes. What stood out, one of the things that stood out the most for me from what Ricardo said is seeing other men go through the experience. And that's an important part of it, because I don't know if you all know, in a lot of ancient cultures, men had to go through a rites of passage. And it wouldn't be alone, it would be along with other men, well, usually boys into men. Right? And that's where you get to see what your brother is doing, which is an important thing. So you see, maybe let's go for his weakness, so you learn what you could improve on and self, and also what you could support him with. And also you get to see his strengths. So you also, yesterday we said the term iron sharpen iron. Right? So you get to see also where a man is strong, so you could pattern with it, or even and yet support him also. But if we always alone, right, which sometimes we men tend to do, we don't have any frame of reference. So then we could always feel we real good. We got this. We on top of our game. But when we see another man, we realize I mightn't be so on top of my game, or they might actually realize you're on top of your game, but now you actually have empirical evidence to prove it. And then also now you could impart some of your skill or knowledge to another man to support him along the way. So I'm real happy to hear what Ricardo's saying, because the slogan and the theme of Seedpoint is where men are men. I don't know, I didn't define that yet, because it's the men that there will define it. So his experience, I love what he said. But someone else may come and not get that experience, which I real good with, and that's why I allow. So I ask questions. I give each man the opportunity to speak on the experience during, afterwards, before, etc., so that we hear the different things, and it allows us to not be always in our head. It allows us to now get a new piece of the puzzle, so we can put it together and now become part of the whole.
Now, I take it back to I think it was Seedpoint 2.0.
Right. That was the last one we did.
Right. Now, let me make sure I say it correct now.
So this is a Seedpoint 2. No, not 2.2, just 2.
Oh,
so
my bad.
Each one will go up in series. So next one will be Seedpoint 3.
It just sounds real nice saying 2.0 now. I don't know. Right?
Them accountants now. Them accountants, the like extra numbers. Go on, sir. Actively listening.
As my videos round to the nearest dollar when we produce an account. Anyhow, in Seedpoint 2, right? You at the Wasamaki estate, right?
That was Seedpoint 1. So Seedpoint 1 was Wasamaki. Seedpoint 2, this was Paragrant, the Paragrant Bay. That's where we had to.
Oh, it have a bay called Paragrant Bay?
Yeah. Down the hill from Paramount.
Nice, man.
The next side of Paramount, Paramount is the mountain going up. So after you go through my valley, go on the next side.
I've expressed that openly. I've never been to Paramount, so it's cool. Anyhow,
right.
So at Seedpoint 1 at Wasamaki, you spoke of it as self-sustaining experience, right?
Mhm.
And the average man, myself included, thinks that self-sustaining is being able to live alone and live by yourself and take care of yourself, right? But self-sustaining also means not just physically taking care of yourself, but mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and financially taking care of yourself as well.
Right.
And judging from what Ricardo was saying about what he experienced yesterday, yes, you could take care of yourself at home, but put yourself in a situation now where you have to put one foot in front of the other on probably a muddy trail to get to a point of relaxation, that is the bay, is totally different to what you would experience taking care of yourself at home.
Correct.
Whereas if you have a family, taking care of a family is a totally different experience as opposed to taking care of yourself out on a trail. And these are the kind of experiences that you will get when you have peer mentorship and open speech with peers. Because if I want to learn about, let's say, balancing emotions as a man, I would want to talk to a partner of mine, a friend or a peer mentor, somebody who is able to balance their emotions and knows a little bit more than me. And I will only know that if we are in situations where I could see this.
Correct. Correct.
So if you are looking for situations where you can build this level of camaraderie and companionship, that you can learn skills from other men, because let's face it, as men, sometimes we don't like to go to other men when we're experiencing issues. You turn to a female friend, girl, here what's going on now? I'm going through this, and not negating that a female's advice would not be good. Because as of yesterday, I learned that a woman's touch is extremely important.
Right.
But what I'm saying is, sometimes you need to learn from someone of the same gender who would have experienced or is experiencing what you are currently going through. And I'll be transparent with the listeners here. When I was going through a breakup some time ago, long time ago, just saying, I had to turn to my peers, my fellow men, to guide me through it and to help me through it. Because it was something that I don't think a woman could have helped me with at that point, because I wanted to know as a man to process emotions. So the thing is, if you are going through certain situations, you need to put yourself in the circles for positive, and I'm stressing on this, for positive reinforcement of skills.
Correct.
Because not everything, and I'll stress it, not everything you need to go and knock a glass for.
I know
Sorry, Ricardo, I take your long-winded moments there, but
no, sir, I am not long-winded. I create context.
well, I created context there.
Yeah. And I will admit I am not known for the brevity of breeze. So
Correct, that's right.
I will take that. But the amazing thing about this experience was it showed in real time and in real life so many things that I've thought about. When Aaron, you made a very valid point. I'm not a biological father. I am uncle, godfather, that type of thing. But seeing a man whose external motivation was, my son is looking at me. Well, that gave me juice, because now I'm thinking, well, if his son looking at him, well then, correct is right. And that put now a collective responsibility on how I carried myself that day. Because from the beginning, Yohance said it. He said, this man's son today is all of our son today. Mm-hmm.
And you know, it brings me back to the point that we established a couple of weeks ago, Ricardo. It takes a village to raise a child. But a lot of us are forgetting that there's an iron village, and we all have a responsibility to play in shaping and molding the next generation.
Yes. More than just, I think, a responsibility is a civic duty. And that's something that we lose.
See the C word again, that?
is our civic duty.
Not civil, guys. Civic. Just saying.
Yeah, well, but Aaron, if it only had one iron village, it had two in civic, you know. So that mean that mean you had to go at it twice as hard.
Now, guys, unfortunately, we are getting perilously close to the end of tonight's program. And I think this is an opportunity where we need to invite Mr.
Ayodike.
Iodk. Scribble the O kind of bad, my apologies. My handwriting terrible. Right? We have to invite him back for another episode because this is not a one-time conversation that we could have. And I'm not sure, Ricardo, if you could get another gentleman as well in on the next episode, so we could have a four.
You have anybody in particular in mind, or?
Somebody, I'll tell you about it after.
All right, nicely.
Right? So we could have a quartet, a barbershop quartet. We're not gonna sing because we don't want to make rain fall.
Yeah.
But I think there's a conversation where we could kick back and talk as men about some of the issues that are plaguing men in society today.
Mr. Ayodike, sir, and I'm calling him Mr. What I can because I know the doctor coming, right? So let me use the Mr. while I can. Behavioral change, change management, these types of things. This is your part and parcel.
Yes.
Based on your practical, your theoretical, your personal experience, I'm going to ask you something here. What do you see as our major, primary, current shortfall as men?
The fear of expressing your true self. Many men, and I'll give it personal experience and also based on clientele and then also based on social relationships. Many of us men edit what we really want to say. Many of us don't really do what we really want to do. Some people think about it, well, if they get to do whatever you want, you will necessarily do something wrong, and that's not true. Let me give you an example. Somebody say, hey, let me get a drop downtown now. You really want to say no, but you say yes, so you betray yourself. The truth is you don't want to give the person a ride. The truth is you just want some time to yourself. But you betray yourself and you allow somebody into your space. So you violate your own boundary. Now I use that example. It could also be in a relationship. You know that you don't want to do something. You know that you have certain standards, but you allow somebody to break it instead of saying, well, you might think, but I might hurt the feeling. Or I don't know how they will take it, but it's your truth. This is what you really want. There are many things that we men allow, whether it is in a relationship, whether it is with friendship, that we don't like. And instead of, and this is nowhere in Trinidad culture, and we could have a conversation about this now or even next time, that many of us men do things in a feminine manner, which is you have a problem with somebody and instead of just letting them know immediately, you don't say anything and then they go and shoo with somebody. That's not masculine to me. If my brethren do something I don't like, just say, Dan, I don't like this. Simply, I didn't say to cuss nobody and get on, you know. Or even with your wife, your girlfriend, your mother, etc. Mommy, I don't like this. You're still polite, you're still calling her mommy, you know. But I don't like this, or I want this. This is don't call me at this time. I need time to myself. I do enough for the day. I'm tired. And instead of saying that, you say, well, it's my mommy, I have to. No, you don't. And when we do things like this, we build resentment for the person. We ourselves have so much pent-up emotion. We need to take a drink. We get in a fight. We go in the casino. We smoke too much. We end up outside with other women when we're not supposed to be. we end up in violent situations. When that same energy, you could have just released it immediately, in truth, with respect, right? Now, what I'm saying is easier said than done, because I am all not perfect with it. Sometimes I still wonder, well, I don't want to, and then I have to remind myself, because also now I have to practice what I preach. And I know the ill effects of it, like holding things inside. So he asks, what is men's major downfall? Is the fear of being yourself.
Listen, listen. Little bit again, we'll get the whole of men's mental health month today.
Which is November. Ricardo, as much as we want to continue, we really running out of time, and we know Mr. Desmond is up next for the big band. So we don't want to
what I will do is say that this is yours truly, Ricardo Mitchell, the social stage and the local stage. Thanking you for joining us in the living room this evening. Remember, guys, the hourglass is opaque. We don't know how much time remains, so whatever you're doing, be good and stay safe. Aaron, I'm going to kick it over to you, but I'm also going to ask that we allow Mr. Ayodike. I ain't gonna lie, you're going from Yohance to Mr. Sorry, I can't even help it.
That's fine. Well, whatever you comfortable.
Yeah. For you to give us your socials so that, the people who are interested in the initiative could get involved. And also, you just give us a serious statement earlier, but any closing remarks in particular. So, Aaron, I'm going to leave it up to you to...
Yohance, you could go ahead.
All right.
Okay. My full name is Yohance Ayodike. I am the owner and founder and chief consultant at Iodk Consultancy. And out of Iodk Consultancy, that's where the Seedpoint was born. By profession, I'm a behavior change consultant, meaning that I facilitate positive behavior change. All of us, or I should say none of us, are perfect. So there's some aspects of our behavior we want to change. So it's not only for people with problems. You could be an 8 out of 10, and you want to be a 9 out of 10. And we don't only function as individuals, we function in a group and a couple. So I help couples, I help families, I help groups, I help communities, companies, because every aspect of this, the main part is a human resource. So, and every one of us want to improve some aspect of ourselves. My social media is Iodk Consultancy, so that's Iodk Consultancy. So I'm on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and website is iodkconsultancy.com. The Seedpoint also has an Instagram page, a Facebook page, and a TikTok page. So either you want to get me at Iodk Consultancy, just search on any social media platform, and you can look for the Seedpoint. Also, the Seedpoint is the initiative for men to allow men to be men.
Thank you very much, man.
I actually kind of lost for words, because I feel proud to know that the work that we have been doing here, Ricardo, is being done elsewhere. The work that we have been pushing for persons to be better citizens and for men to be better men is being done elsewhere. And I'd like to take this opportunity to congratulate you, Yohance. Because
thank you. And I'm also congratulating you all also.
It's been a while since I've done a Tribute 30, but I've always said that we need to give persons the flowers while they're still alive to smell the roses.
True.
And as men, we need to give each other credit for the work that we are doing to shape other men to be better, especially. Because women always do it, but as men, we be ashamed to tell our brethren, hey, brother, I like what you're doing. I'm proud of you.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd like to end tonight's program by saying to the other two gentlemen in this room with me, as well as to all the male listeners on WAC 90.1 FM, and those who will tune in on YouTube after when we post it, fellas, I am proud of you all. Right?
Thank you. I'm proud of you too.
As likewise, I always end, thanks, fellas. As I always end, I say that love is the currency, so spend some today. Let somebody know that you love them, please. Right? Up next, Mr. Desmond, big band. Guys, I should be back on air Friday. Hopefully I should be back. So keep it locked to the True Nation station, WACK 9.1 FM. And remember, we're not looking for YouTube anymore. It's wack.tv. Keep it locked.
Thank you.